and welcome to the Women in Business Conference. My name is Kiran Singh, and I am a junior finance and management double major at Lehigh University, and I am also the president of Women in Business. It is my honor to welcome you here today, and I'd also like to welcome all the Lehigh alum tuning in to our live stream tonight. We are absolutely thrilled to have such a broad representation of alumni, professionals, students, faculty, staff, and members of the Lehigh community here today. We especially wish to mention Kevin Clayton and Robert Brown, who were just selected as the chair and vice chair of the Lehigh Board of Trustees. Lehigh Board of Trustee members Joseph Perella and Ann Klein. Also Georgette Chapman Phillips, Kevin L., and Lisa A. Clayton Dean of the College of Business and Economics. And finally, last year's keynote, and a member of the CBE Dean's Advisory Council, Kim Rogoff. We would like to thank the organizations and corporations that made generous financial contributions in support of our conference, especially Bank of America Merrill Lynch, Prudential, KPMG, Johnson & Johnson, and Cycle Investment Banking. The list goes on. Thank you to everyone in attendance and to the many people who made this event possible, including Jamie Pugh, Danielle Moyer, and Lauren Baker. I want to especially thank the Women in Business Executive Board, as this conference could not have been possible without them. Women in Business at Lehigh is an organization that seeks to promote personal and professional development by engaging students in activities and workshops that support business skills and etiquette. Our goal is to aid in career direction by building relationships and fostering supportive environments to address significant topics affecting female leaders. The theme of our conference is balancing success and happiness, a continuous challenge that we are faced with throughout our years, yet it is essential to unleashing our true potential. I would now like to introduce our keynote speaker. Lena Koropey is the founder of Gramercy Protocol, an etiquette consulting company that provides strategic business etiquette and communication skills counsel to Fortune 100 companies and entrepreneurs, representing some of the world's most respected brands. Recognized for her focus on the importance of interpersonal communication in building effective business relationships, Lena helps her clients achieve their best to develop and maintain business. She's coached senior executives, sales teams, and new hires in a variety of industries in global markets. Her clients include Louis Vuitton and Denmark. Prior to Gramercy Protocol, Lena worked on the product and technology PR team at Mercedes-Benz. While at Boss, Lena managed marketing and sales programs for domestic and international markets. She directed creative for the brand and helped launch the Boss Foundation as a corporate social responsibility initiative dedicating to providing clean access to clean water in sub-Saharan Africa. Evidently, Lena holds experience in marketing communications, brand management, and public relations. Lena earned her certification in corporate etiquette and international protocol consulting from the Protocol School of Washington, the only national accredited educational institution for international protocol, cross-cultural awareness, and business etiquette. More so, Lena is a Global Village alum, an intensive program at Lehigh University that teaches professionals entrepreneurial and leadership skills while preparing them to thrive in a global workplace. Before welcoming Lena onto the stage, I, on behalf of Women in Business, would like to take a moment to personally thank her for her commitment to this conference. Over the last few months, I have had the opportunity to get to know Lena through endless phone calls and emails. From our conversations, I have learned that Lena has definitely mastered the art of balancing success and happiness. Evidently, her career is of utmost importance to her, but she still makes time to build relationships with those around her. Regardless of how busy she was, she still made time for me, a mere student at Lehigh University. Lena has embraced this conference with enthusiasm, and for this, we are immensely grateful to have her support and her involvement. With that, it is my honor to present to you Ms. Lena Koropey.
Good evening, everyone. Kiran, thank you for the very kind introduction. It is an honor to be here among such distinguished company, and thank you very much for the opportunity. As an etiquette professional, the conclusion that I draw about balancing success and happiness is that good behavior is good business. The last time I was in this Iacocca dining room was 17 years ago when I participated in the Lehigh Iacocca Future Leaders of Business and Industry intensive summer program. And we had a dining etiquette tutorial in this very room. It was part of our program session, so it is a great honor to be back in this space many years later as an etiquette consultant, knowing that my first official etiquette course was just in this room. Now, it was my first time that I learned officially where to place the napkin when leaving the dining table temporarily during a meal. And also during that session, I learned how to properly butter the bread, as well as silverware savvy, as we say in the industry. So that was after having completed my undergraduate degree. And these were very valuable life lessons, especially considering how many times a day we eat, right? So I was now ready to enter the workforce after the Iacocca Institute. It was really a foundation for me and my future in business. So thank you very much to the Institute for the opportunity. In the words of Oscar Wilde, the world was my oyster. Having just finished my undergraduate degree, I was ready to take on the world and to pursue business. And thankfully, I knew which fork to use. I'd also like to mention that it was back in year 2010 when I had read an article in Bloomberg Businessweek magazine where Lehigh Iacocca was contrasted with Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook. And the article, about 4 pages long, talked about the need for business etiquette training. And so that moment when I was reading, I thought, and I knew that that was where I could apply my skills, my talents, my interest and passion to help make a difference in the world and to help people be their best through how they build relationships with their behavior. Now, certainly the time I spent here at Lehigh impacted my future success. And my participation in the Iacocca Institute helped me understand what it means to be part of a truly global village. One that respects cultural differences and whose inhabitants can thrive in business by building connections based on trust and mutual respect and our shared humanity. A world where love and compassion and friendship, and we had a lot of fun too, brings us together and creates common ground, right? It is great to see that and to know that fellow villagers, as we call them, are actually tuning into this live stream conference right now. So, hello. Now, while I was very fortunate to have my family teach me also the simple social graces, my first class, as I said, was here in this room. And when I was a kid, for example, my father and we would enjoy formal brunches at our favorite hotel restaurant on Sundays. So this was a moment where I was about age 7, and I really started to become interested in codes of conduct and, where to place napkins and how to butter bread. So during these meals, he taught me how to break the bread and converse intelligently through intent listening and observation. As a retired U.S. Army colonel, my father exemplifies civility and order. He is an expert in protocol and codes of conduct. And he stands tall and looks every inch the part of a military officer. And he also happens to be open-minded and worldly, and he speaks 4 languages, and one of them being Chinese, which he decided to learn in his 50s. And he only has good things to say about people, and he personifies integrity and duty and honor. He passed a commitment to these principles onto me, universal principles and norms that would shape my future as an etiquette consultant. And my mother is an artist and a businesswoman. And she is a gifted conversationalist and has a wonderful way of making people feel comfortable with her very natural, relaxed demeanor. And that's another important point about etiquette, is how we make people feel. She's humorous and very good at not taking herself too seriously. And she loves freedom and creativity, and she's a nonconformist and always encourages me to follow my passion and my heart, which is a theme for today's talk as we discuss what it means to balance success and happiness. My parents are quite opposite in many ways, although they both instilled in my brother, sister, and me an appreciation for grace and civility, the conviction that we should retain a sense of wonder about the world, and the confidence that we could achieve things through our own power. With such things, anything is possible. But it took a while for me to find my way. Each step for us is a building block, as we know. It's an exploration of diverse experiences. And I gave myself the freedom to try new activities, new volunteering, new hobbies, new programs, new jobs. And I would encourage you to try these different opportunities as well. What I have learned through a series of successes and failures is that happiness and success really comes down to relationships. Relationships with ourselves and our relationships to others. Our relationship to ourselves, that's about self-awareness and mindfulness, existing in the present moment, creating our own possibilities for our lives, and taking the time to explore a very important question. Who am I, really, and what is my life for? We can discover who we are and our life's purpose by looking inward and taking the time to reflect. Exercise and nurture our body, our heart, our mind, our spirit. Spending time in nature, for example, or listening to classical music. Meditate or pray, for example, help us find peace and clarity. When we're excessively goal-oriented, always focusing on the next meeting, the next class, the next client, the next big get, we put ourselves in a future place. And mindfulness gently brings us back to the present, helping us tap into our inner creativity and wisdom. In the words of Walt Whitman, happiness, not in another place, but this place. Not for another hour, but this hour. How can we bring ourselves back to the present moment? Any ideas? Breathe. Inhale and exhale through your nose. Follow the rising and falling of your breath for about 10 seconds. That's all we need. Fill your lower abdomen with oxygen. We can practice in our seats now that we have just had a nice meal. But as you inhale, breathe, fill your abdomen with oxygen, and then you exhale and trace the oxygen as it leaves the body. This is a very simple exercise that has really created a good framework for being grounded and finding your way, regardless of what is occurring around you. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, try this deep breathing approach. How many of you have ever said, when I get there, I'll be X? How many of you have ever said, when I get married, then I'll be happy? Or, when I graduate school, then I've made it? Anyone? The proverbial carrot on a stick, right? Because as Gertrude Stein once said of Oakland, there is no there. How many times have we accomplished something that we were sure that would make us so happy, and only to find that it wasn't necessarily the case? And how can we find peace and grounding despite what is happening around us? Mother Teresa says that peace begins with a smile, and one way to fast track to a state of happiness is by being grateful, simply. Living in a state of gratitude, as Arianna Huffington notes in her book Thrive, is the gateway to grace. Whenever I feel at a loss, I think of things for which I am grateful: family, friends, health, the sunshine, flowers, this view. Anything. Just think of anything that brings you back to a place of joy and gets you to a place of abundance. Being in service to others is another fast track to happiness. In another passage from the book, Huffington notes, giving sends a message to the universe that we have all we need. My business is named Gramercy Protocol, and as it turns out, Gramercy means with gratitude. It's derived from the Anglo-French 14th century Gramercy, and it means great thanks. Gratitude is one of the values that drives my business. Are you happy? I see some smiles in the room. I am happy. I attribute that to a positive attitude and to having attended a series of personal and professional development workshops over the years, which I highly encourage. The work has helped me tell the story that I'd rather not tell and uncover truths about who I am and what I'm up to creating. I have evolved and transformed and gotten in touch with the essence of who I am and with the interconnectivity of everything. When we develop a deeper sense of empathy and we discover the value of magic in community, we can all benefit from stripping away our facade so that we can truly connect with others, independent of technology. During a difficult time in my life, I discovered that yoga helped me put things in perspective. I enjoyed the training so much that I became a certified instructor and started to volunteer my time. So once a week, I would hold a yoga class at a studio, and it helped me in my professional career as I started to incorporate the principles of the training, for example, posture and breath, into the etiquette curriculum. It also helped me find clarity on what it is I want and need to be happy. Later, I started practicing meditation, 20 minutes twice a day. At this point, I'm lucky to do 20 minutes once, and that's okay, because honestly, I feel that I have just exercised or been to the gym from just those simple 20 minutes. Earlier, we were outside, and some of us met and discussed how even a short 5-minute break can make all the difference. So I encourage everyone to take some time for themselves and to reflect and to breathe. Even basketball coach and New York Knicks president Phil Jackson recently made mindfulness and meditation training mandatory for the Knicks. Now, pondering the topic of balancing success and happiness, we can have both. What if we put happiness first? Put happiness out in front of success. Life is about the small kindnesses, right? Lifelong passion. How many of you feel that you are living your passion? Okay. Great. Well, so the point is that we can explore what it is that we love to do and make that a part of our everyday life, right? Because, you want to find what you love, do it, and simply keep a positive attitude. My other recommendation is to avoid complaining about anything. What we resist persists. And our thoughts become things. Do you ever find that life works out the way you say it will? Or the way you think it will? It does in my experience. After all, I declared myself long ago that I was going to become an etiquette expert. We have tremendous power with our word. Once we declare our goals powerfully, we can take action to bring them into reality. There's a great book about manifesting desires. It's called Ask and It Is Given. Has anyone here read this book by Esther and Jerry Hicks? Okay, well, I will read a short passage. It's not very short, actually, but it discusses the law of attraction. And this is the ability to attract into our lives that which we focus on. All the resources you will ever want or need are at your fingertips. All you have to do is identify what you want to do with it, and then practice the feeling place of what it will feel like when it happens. There's nothing you cannot be or do or have. You are blessed beings, and you have come forth into this physical environment to create, right? Create a business, create a family, create happiness. There is nothing holding you back other than your own contradictory thought. And your emotion tells you you're doing that. Life is supposed to be fun. It is supposed to feel good. You are powerful creators and right on schedule. So there's nothing wrong. You're exactly where you should be. And the book passage notes to savor more and fix less, to laugh more and cry less, anticipate positively more and negatively less. Just practice that and watch what happens. There is great love here for you. We are complete. So, ask and it is given. We can apply this to our relationships, to our professional lives, to our health, love, commitment, joy. But we have to do the work. We have to have difficult conversations with ourselves and with others. Have we been living with integrity? Is that important to us? And what does that even look like? Some say integrity is keeping your word or doing what you say you were going to do. It's up to us to dig, to uncover who we are and what we've been pretending. It's up to us to make the healthy decisions and to take care of our bodies, to feed them well and to be loving with those around us so that we too may attract love. We need to be the energy that we want to feel. One leading humanitarian social entrepreneur, when asked about his perspective on balancing success and happiness, said, "Do something that you dream of doing and you'll be the world champion in happiness." He also said, "Under no circumstance should you choose a career path because society said so." David Kelly, the founder of the great design firm IDEO and of the D School of Stanford University, writes, "We are too quick to censor or judge our natural creative impulses as not being good enough. But we need to give ourselves permission to follow what makes us feel most alive. And when we are most alive, we are most compassionate, and vice versa. If you love to sing, then sing. You don't have to sing in a choir or become a soloist. Or if you like to write poems or short stories, then write. You don't have to become a published author. If you love to paint, paint. Don't squash your creative instincts because you're not, quote, good enough to turn what you love to do into a career. Or as great Eleanor Roosevelt put it, you must do the thing which you think you cannot do. No more stories or excuses. Just get it done. It's fun doing what we love. Or have we been preconditioned to think it's somehow not enough or not okay? No. You have one shot as long as you're breathing to get up and make a difference for someone. Share your talent with someone. That is happiness. Draw circles representing passion, your job, your relationships with others, and see how much you can overlap those circles. Pay attention to the opportunities that arise and the little miracles that are occurring for you. We've heard it before, and I'll say it again. Be fearless. Make bold requests of others and of yourself. Rise to the occasion. You assign meaning to this world. You write your own story. You're living your life. You're not living someone else's. And it's not always easy to put ourselves out there on the line, to take a risk and disrupt whatever comfort we may feel. But you have to stretch to reach for the stars, as the saying goes. Peter McIntyre, artist and author, notes, confidence comes from not always being right, but from not fearing to be wrong. How many times have I received advice from people about what I should do, or who I should be, or what I should study, and on and on. And sure, some of it was very good advice. My brother, for example, he suggested get an MBA, and I did. But some of it wasn't great advice, and why was that? Because it simply wasn't me. We all have a sense of ourselves, of what we love and what we feel ourselves gravitating to. Take what advice works for you and leave the rest, and focus on your dreams. How else can we create a life of balance and well-being? Our schedules are overbooked. We are slaves to technology. Can anyone here relate that maybe they check their phone a little in an addictive way? Well, it's part of our lives, and so how can we make technology work for us, right? We never seem to have enough time, and let alone time for ourselves. So balance is making the time for the things we deem important, whatever those are. If I want to go for a run, I simply have to do it. It's up to me, no one else, or not. Time management is key to living a balanced life, and we all know that it comes down to priorities. How do we achieve fulfillment in life? Once we identify our unique talent and skill sets, we take action and consider where, utilizing these skills, we can make a difference in the world. Where can we make a contribution? One way to make a contribution is through our behavior, and all our behavior is rooted in values, and all values guide behavior. According to one dictionary, etiquette means the rules and conventions governing correct or polite behavior in society. According to moral philosopher Dov Seidman, who authored the book How, Why How We Do Anything Means Everything, he notes that our behavior is our greatest source of competitive advantage. He states that we can outbehave the competition. Mr. Seidman suggests that we put values out in front of behavior to make the shift from rules to culture. We can see countless examples of how etiquette can make or break a relationship. I visited a bank not too long ago to open a new account, and the manager of the bank greeted me with a handshake, But rather than look at me in the eye, he looked at his colleague across the hall, whom he was simultaneously greeting. Now, that made an impression on me. And certainly we know that a handshake says a lot about who we are, or at least the impression that we make on someone else. What percentage of business is lost to bad behavior? How many times have we shaken someone's hand and found that he or she didn't make direct eye contact? Or how did that subtle behavior make us feel? And what do such subtleties communicate about who people are? The fact is, trust can be lost or gained on the basis of such interactions. And this is why we talk about etiquette, right? Greeting and introductions and making people feel comfortable and how to make a connection, how to build relationships. I knew that I could help people be their best and do my part to bring back the human element to business. Isn't it amazing that 85% of our job success is directly related to our people skills? Etiquette is about how we create harmony in society by being human and present with one another. This includes how we interact with one another. The quality of our lives depends on our ability to connect. How do we network? How do we build trust? Trust allows us to function in times of uncertainty. Ernest Hemingway said, "The best way to find out if you can trust someone is to trust them." Dr. Joyce Brothers, psychologist and author, said, "The best proof of love is trust." We know that trust is the heartbeat of relationships and the glue of life. My work focuses on building trust through exploring values and etiquette and personal branding. What is your brand? What do we want to communicate to the world about who we are? And how do we build a reputation? Networking skills, how to connect, and certainly cross-cultural communication when we're working in diverse groups globally. And how do we be sensitive and aware to other cultures so that we can create common ground? So what is happiness then? Professor George Vallon, who here is familiar with the Harvard study, the great Harvard Grant study on happiness? Anyone? Okay, there was a lengthy study on happiness that started in 1938, so 75-year-long study. 268 male Harvard undergraduates were surveyed. $20 million later, they concluded that happiness is love. It shows that happiness is all about relationships with other people, not Facebook. Well, Facebook level relationships, but deep, meaningful relationships characterized by trust and where we have feedback. The study also noted that those with a sense of deep relationship and community lived longer and were happier. It is evident that connectivity and love and trust and community are pillars that hold up happiness and therefore, in my opinion, success. Since I launched Gramercy Protocol, I have been pondering the question of how to scale up kindness and connectivity for the world. How can we make a difference for others? We can commit ourselves to the idea of profit with a purpose, to giving back, to helping others, to being a part of something larger than ourselves. And good behavior is good business. All of these ideas have inspired my work, and this is a global movement. There are now consultants who help organizations be more mindful. While some of us might be interested in business, others may be interested in becoming teachers or doctors, and we have scientists in the room. There are many possibilities and opportunities, and pausing and listening to our intuition will help guide us about which direction to take. There is no wrong answer as long as we are true to our interests and our passions. We can all contribute to the greater good of the community and the world. How can we contribute? Working with our neighbors, our friends, our family, our classmates, our coworkers. How can we help others and touch people's lives in a meaningful way? Well, we do this whether you're a nurse or marketing a useful product or managing a philanthropic organization or raising kids, being a parent, working as a barista in a coffee shop, being an artist, being the CEO of a global company. And when we help others and give back, we find happiness. It's fun to drive a hot sports car and wear designer clothes and shoes, but happiness is beyond the material realm. It goes beyond striving for the bigger homes and popularity on social media sites. It is through meaningful relationships and moments with others that we can find happiness. My business is about etiquette. And while we do have to be living examples of what we do, at times I admit that I have felt a bit trapped in the overly perfect world that a commitment to etiquette envisions. But I realized that that entrapment was an illusion. We are actually perfectly free to do what we want. Today, I'm launching a t-shirt collection called Strip Tees that brings people together in the spirit of kindness and connectivity for the world. The design is simple. It's a horizontal strip across the chest. And it has, each shirt has a special, bears one of the words that make up the 6-word phrase, kindness and connectivity for the world. When the people who own the shirts reach out to connect with each other, they can, by standing together, build out the entire phrase, kindness and connectivity for the world, over and over again. As they connect and stand side by side, the strip gets longer and longer, ultimately forming a circle around the world. The point is that a little kindness goes a long way. The person who submits a photo with the longest strip wins half the proceeds from the sale of the shirts to give to the organization of their choice. This is an interactive campaign in which everyone gets a shirt and everyone matters. My hope is that we bring people together and bring out the best in each other. I've been in touch with countless people about this concept and have had buy-in and enrollment, and people are cheering on not only me, the project, people are cheering you on. My mother designed the shirts, and now she's a part of it. And why that's specifically relevant is because it's not about identifying only our own talent, but helping other people maximize theirs. The guys in the paint shop are part of the project, the graphic designers, the suppliers in India, investors, everyone is on the list, and the point is that we feed off the energy and enthusiasm of the collective. I encourage you to reach out into your networks with your dreams and your ideas. We're surrounded with talent and people who want to make a difference. Together, we're making a difference. And our own happiness is our proof of success. We get to create and invent and reinvent our own possibilities. Find the things that make you happy and do them. Focus on happiness first and do that which matters most to you. And consider its impact on the world. Arguably, we each have 30,000 days on this earth. What will you do with your days? In closing, I leave you with the words from Rumi, the great 13th century poet and scholar. Let yourself be silently drawn by the stronger pull of what you really love. After all, happiness is love, and good behavior is good business. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for attending the 3rd Annual Women in Business Conference. We hope that you were able to learn, connect, and expand both your mind and network this evening, and continue to push yourself as a professional and as an individual. We would like to thank our moderators and panelists, as well as our keynote speaker, Lena. Once again, can we get another round of applause? At this time, I would like to invite everyone to stay for a networking reception. Cocktails and dessert will be served. And once again, I would like to thank all of you for coming and supporting Women in Business.